Fans have been tuning in to witness the real-life transformations on My 600-Pound Life for almost a decade, with its most dedicated stars earning a brand new lease on life. But if you think you saw the whole story on the show, you won't believe what these series stunners look like now. Like nearly all of the backstories on My 600-Pound Life, Season 6 star Alicia experienced a traumatic childhood that left lasting scars. After turning to food for comfort, she eventually maxed out at 622 pounds.
I feel like food is the one thing that doesn't judge you. It never lets me down and never disappoints me.
Fortunately, with Dr. Now's help and a lot of hard work, Alicia dropped down to 436 pounds. And from the looks of it, she's still making amazing progress. She wrote on Facebook in 2020, "The last 3 years, while amazing, have been some of the most challenging of my life. And with all the changes ahead of me, I don't see it easing up. But this is life. This is what I worked hard to be able to do, live a fulfilling, exciting life." When Season 2's Christina decided she was ready for a change, she was 708 pounds and just 23 years old. At the time, she was eating a whopping 7,000 calories a day.
I'm ready to change and be able to live normal again. I'm ready to change it all.
But fast forward to today, and you can barely recognize the woman Christina once was. Having clocked in at as low as 172 pounds, Christina has found her happy place, running 5Ks and spending time with her nephews. She told Starcasm in 2019, "I am alive, I am better than I was, and all I can do is focus on myself. I'm thankful for where I am at and being able to share my story with others." It appears Christina is also focusing on another little someone in her life, her son Ethan, who she welcomed in February 2021. James weighed in at 728 pounds the first time he stepped on Dr. Now's scale in Season 2. Having lost both his father and his sister to weight-related issues, James knew that he didn't want to continue down the same path.
I know if I really want to make a living doing what I want, I have to lose the weight.
He got so serious about the program that he shed over half of his body weight by the end of his episode, and it didn't stop there. He told Starcasm in 2019 that he had officially hit 239 pounds. When Sarah was first introduced to fans on Season 6, she was 642 pounds and just 24 years old. Unable to properly care for herself, she left Ohio and relocated to Texas to seek help from Dr. Now.
Food is everything for me. It's my purpose for living, and I think about it until I go to sleep.
While her first few months in the doctor's program were challenging, Sarah eventually got on track, dropping under 400 pounds by the time the cameras wrapped. But even after that, she continued on her journey until she weighed in at 197 pounds, according to Starcasm. While it hasn't been smooth sailing for Sarah, who struggled with addiction and entered rehab in 2019, according to her Instagram, things are looking up. She got married in 2020, and months later, she and her husband welcomed their first child together. One particular success story from Season 8 featured Travis, a musician and songwriter from Texas. After experiencing childhood neglect, Travis found solace in food, but his life changed when he met his wife Yasmin. After first rendering her an enabler, Travis finally decided to turn things around.
Once I start eating, it's like this wave of happiness comes over me. And I can never get enough of it.
Travis was 617 pounds at the start of his journey, but he quickly started making progress. And by the end of his episode, he'd lost 240 pounds. And by the looks of it, things are going very well for Travis.
Right now, my life is waking up and getting food and watching TV.
When twins Brandi and Kandi started their weight loss journey, they both weighed in at roughly 600 pounds. While they had tried to lose weight before, it wasn't until Season 5 of the show that they turned their lives around. Brandi told People, "My sister and I have been trying to go through this process for a long time, and it just happened at the right time. I was terrified of going on camera, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so we took it."
If we want to lose 50 pounds each this month,
we're gonna have to work really hard.
But things took a terrifying turn just days after Kandi's weight loss surgery, when her heart stopped and she was put into a medical coma. Fortunately, she was able to make a full recovery.
You weren't gonna leave me? You scared the living out of me.
By the end of the episode, both sisters had dropped more than 200 pounds. And by the looks of Kandi's Facebook, the twins have lost even more.
During her time on My 600-Pound Life, Olivia Cruz lost almost 400 pounds, thanks in part to gastric sleeve surgery. Nevertheless, people reported in 2016 that famed series surgeon Dr. Now didn't immediately approve her for skin removal, pending further weight loss. Despite the setback, Olivia said she was still happy with her success.
I can be back out in society again, and I can make a living for the first time in almost a decade and a half.
Formerly barely able to function just 3 years prior, Olivia has since become a completely different person. The reality star has also begun to realize some of her lifelong dreams. Once forced to end a culinary education due to mobility issues, Olivia is planning on becoming a professional chef now that she's much lighter.
I'm so excited that my dreams are not just hopes for the future now. They're literally starting to happen.
This particular star of My 600-Pound Life has had a fantastic journey. Chad Dean was dealing with serious health issues when he first appeared on the show, once weighing 701 pounds. Still, he put in the work to completely turn things around. These days, Chad gets plenty of exercise and stays busy working as a truck driver. He says he does about 500 curls a day and uses exercise bands that he hooks up to the back of his truck. He explained to Men's Health, "My son Jojo is autistic, and now that I'm smaller, I can play with him more. Just to see that smile, it's worth everything."
I'm more of a husband and a father to my kids now than I've ever been.
But that's not all Chad has been up to. He also worked on a memoir titled I'm In Here Somewhere, Memoir of a Food Addict. He says he was inspired to write the book once he started getting messages from fans on Facebook after his episode aired. Other people's curiosity about Chad and his journey encouraged him to take the leap. And as he told Ashley's Reality Roundup, "That motivated me to spill out my life in the hope that I can inspire at least one more person to save their own life like I did. My greatest hope is that someone will recognize their issues and stop from ever tipping over into morbid obesity." Mississippi native Dottie Potts joined the series at 34 years old, hoping to begin her weight loss journey. But in 2016, her son Daniel passed away, deeply impacting her life's trajectory. Still, Dottie has since moved out of her house and into a hotel with her son Landon. According to Distractify, she also left her husband Chris because of his drinking, Dottie revealed. "I honestly don't think Chris is going to really change like he needs and truly give up alcohol because I've been through this before with him a long time ago."
I've did things now that I would not have been able to do a year ago.
But Dottie also took a stand in regards to a professional relationship too. Starcasm reported that she and several other former castmates were suing the 600-Pound Life production company, Megalomedia, for failing to pay medical bills and manufacturing drama to boost the ratings. Dottie claims she was part of a drawn-out confrontation with Dr. Now that was completely falsified in order to create a more compelling narrative. Gideon Yeakley first appeared on the show in 2016, and despite a few early roadblocks, he finally lost the weight. In September 2017, he and his wife Kaylee welcomed their daughter Frankie, but later in 2019, Gideon was admitted to the hospital after he unexpectedly collapsed, according to In Touch Weekly. At the time, Kaylee posted to Facebook, "Gideon is at the hospital. He called me at work to come home early because he felt so bad."
I've had no problem sticking to the diet, but I've just found it hard to get up and stay active all day.
Fortunately, Gideon soon bounced back and continued to focus on healthy living with Kaylee's support. But fast forward a couple years, and Gideon and Kaylee are no more. The announcement came via Facebook, with Kaylee posting in May 2022, "The honeymoon's over. Also, so is the marriage. After 14 years together, Gideon and I have decided to end our marriage." Karina Garcia first appeared on season 6, weighing a whopping 633 pounds. She lived with her parents and used a wheelchair to get around. The star recalled that she frequently felt lonely as a child and found relief in overeating. She shared,
I would buy junk food, chips, soda, cookies, cupcakes. Food was always there to comfort me no matter what.
Eventually, Karina was approved for gastric sleeve surgery, and after some struggles, she lost more than 200 pounds. As of 2019, the former TLC star appeared to be maintaining a healthy lifestyle. She no longer needed to use a wheelchair and was planning to move into her own place. But that wasn't the most surprising development in her life. She also began dating Gilbert Donovan. If he sounds familiar, that's because he's the ex-husband of former 600-pound life star Lupe Donovan. Gilbert originally drew some controversy on the show after viewers watched him pressure his wife into having sex after her surgery. But as far as Karina is concerned, she is reportedly working as a bilingual customer service rep and living her best life. Tara Taylor appeared on season 2 when she was 35 years old. The Louisiana native revealed that she had struggled with her weight her entire life. It had even gotten to the point that she was afraid to be seen in public, but she faced her fears and worked hard to adapt to a healthier lifestyle, eventually losing 278 pounds. A follow-up profile in 2015 revealed that she had even gone on her first date with a man named Eugene Perkins. At the time, Tara had known him as friends for more than 14 years.
We're perfect for each other. I see a big future here. He wants to be a dad, and I wouldn't mind being a mom again.
The pair soon got engaged, and it seemed like everything was working out for the best. But the star shocked her fans with an update in 2020. Tara had split from her fiancé after it was revealed that Perkins was using a dating app to cheat with other women. Though she didn't get into the gritty details, Tara shared on social media, "You never know what you find on the internet. When someone shows you who they are, believe it. I hope you find what you're looking for, Mr. Perkins."
What a journey it's been for Milla Clark, who weighed in at a whopping 751 pounds in her Season 4 episode of My 600-Pound Life. In addition to that, she was confined to her bed and relied on her children to tend to her most basic hygiene. To top it off, she hadn't left her home in 2 years and couldn't stand on her own 2 feet.
Every single day of my life is miserable.
Fortunately, Clark was able to get the help she desperately needed. By the end of her episode, she was approved for weight loss surgery, having shed 150 pounds, and made the effort to stand up.
It's been maybe 7 years since I've gone anywhere in a vehicle that wasn't an ambulance.
But that was just the beginning, as she continued to steadily make some seriously dramatic progress. After multiple skin surgeries and a double knee replacement, Clark hit the 152-pound mark, according to her follow-up episode. That's a 600-pound difference and a record breaker for the show. When viewers first met Ashley Dunn Bratcher in her Season 4 episode of My 600-Pound Life, she relied on her young son Patrick to help her get things done around the house, like laundry and cooking. She was deeply ashamed, feeling like she should be the one caring for him and not the other way around. But at 725 pounds, she was extremely limited in her mobility. Not content with her life, Bratcher made the brave decision to conquer her eating habits and get weight loss surgery. By the time her second follow-up episode rolled around, Bratcher celebrated a total weight loss of 350 pounds, nearly half of her entire body weight.
I can do so much more than just sit around the house waiting to eat.
With that loss came newfound freedom too, which gave Patrick his childhood back.
He can be a kid and I can be a mom, and that's what I'm most thankful for.
Unlike many of the partnerships in My 600-Pound Life, Bratcher and her husband didn't break up when she decided to change her life. Chay Guillory's Season 3 transformation on My 600-Pound Life is arguably one of the most dramatic of them all, and for more than one reason. First, at the end of her debut episode, she had lost a total of 119 pounds, enough to bring her under the 500-pound mark. Then, by the end of her first follow-up episode, she was down to 379 pounds, showing continued and consistent success on her weight loss journey. But during that episode, she also dropped another bomb. Guillory came out as transgender and began to live her life as a woman.
I live my entire life 24/7 as a woman because that's what I am.
In Guillory's most recent follow-up episode, viewers learned that she was ready for skin removal surgery. Additionally, Guillory is getting closer to her 180-pound goal, at which point she will qualify for gender confirmation surgery.
Ta-da!
When Bettie Jo Elmore began her weight loss journey on Season 3 of My 600-Pound Life, she weighed 654 pounds. But thanks to her commitment and hard work, she's a long way from where she was during those dark times, despite the many obstacles that she's had to overcome. Mainly, in Elmore's follow-up episode, she found out that she had a growth at the base of her spine. While that can normally be removed surgically, it wasn't an option for Elmore because she was pregnant. Knowing that surgery would put her baby at risk, Elmore opted to risk the paralysis that the growth could cause her.
I'll do whatever it takes to protect my child.
By her second follow-up episode, Elmore was on bed rest due to her high-risk pregnancy, but fortunately, everything turned out well.
Of all the stars on Season 7, Cillas Givens had a story that ended on a super high note. After enduring a seriously lonely childhood, Cillas turned to food for comfort. Over time, he grew to a peak weight of 729 pounds. If Cillas was going to make it, he needed to make some serious lifestyle changes. Fortunately, Cillas had the support of his girlfriend Jessica and her children, as well as the intervention of Dr. Now. By the end of his episode, he had lost a staggering 388 pounds. Based on the photos on his Facebook page, Cillas is still continuing to make progress. And if a photograph he used for a GoFundMe is any indication, it looks as if he's slimmed down even further since his episode aired. When David Bolton began his weight loss journey with Dr. Now, he weighed in at 747 pounds. David's weight prevented him from working or doing much for himself. Fortunately, the Season 6 star was able to turn it all around and finish his episode at 420 pounds. Later, fans of David learned that he had slimmed down even more when a family member revealed his new weight of 295 pounds. In addition to a seriously impressive weight loss, David celebrated another milestone when he and his longtime girlfriend announced that they were getting married. David wrote in a Facebook post, "A wave can start with a single ripple, and my ripple was Carrie. She's the love of my life, my future, and my soul." Justin McSwain was 688 pounds when he decided to turn his life around and get weight loss surgery. Justin responded well to Dr. Now's program and managed to lose half of his body weight. To commemorate his weight loss journey, Justin closed out his episode by getting matching tattoos with his dad. Justin's healthy efforts were far from over though. Today, he's practically unrecognizable in photos on his Facebook page. While he hasn't publicly said how much weight he's dropped, it's clear that Justin continues to put in the work. He spends his time palling around with his dog, traveling to places like New Orleans for vacation, attending conferences about being a bariatric athlete, and getting inked with fellow My 600-Pound Life alum Christina Phillips. Tiffany Barker made the decision to get healthy after her size made it impossible for her to work. Weighing in at 673 pounds, she had a lot to overcome. But Tiffany managed to prevail and ended her episode over 250 pounds lighter. Tiffany continued her progress even after the camera stopped rolling, and not just with weight loss. According to a video on her Instagram page, Tiffany was able to celebrate accomplishing another personal goal.
I got sent home early from work for hitting overtime, so never thought I'd be able to do that physically.